Doctor Who Season 2, Episodes 26 to 29, titled The Space Museum. And this story is the third to last story of Season 2. It is the second last story of Barbara Ian, because I checked Wikipedia. And the moment you click on the next one, the moment you check the Time Meddler, and it says Vicky, and then insert another character, and there's no Barbara Ian, you're like, okay, the chase is their final story. But watching the Space Museum, I was like, you know what? Back in 1965, and knowing the show was kind of seen as a children's show, it clearly the mindset of change the location, change some character names, and make it not the Daleks, and say this and that, and change the location. This week's in a 4-part story, because this is a 4-episode story. Very short episodes in a 20-minute time frame. Like, I think the part 1 is like the only 25-minute episode. The rest of it are like 21, 22, 23, or roughly on the short end in a 25-minute time frame. But it's probably at the time, it was like, yeah, 1965, so, you know, we've seen everything, but you roughly are repeating yourself. And to the point, but right now, in a 21st century, in a 2022, nearly 2023 mindset, and knowing, you know, BritBox and streaming and that type of thing, I'm watching this and I'm like, I feel kind of seeing this. This is kind of very repetitive. Like, you're seeing the same type of story for the last, like, 5 out of the 7 episodes of season 2, where we're in a location, and we got these villains who want to capture our main characters, but these villains are also evade this other race, and this race wants to have their planet back, or their, you know, location back. And I'm like, is this like the last like 6 stories? Like, it's a evasion, you know, it's a Dalek invasion to Earth. It's you know, but I mean, both Dalek stories. You're dealing with, you know, the web planet is roughly the same thing as well. And I'm like, this is just like, there's a little bit of we want to be time wimey attached to it, because the Doctor, Barbara, Ian, and Vicky are walking through a space museum where even there's like a Dalek shell, and there's even a point where they're like, there's a Dalek. Whew, thank goodness, it gave me a fight. I thought it was going to say exterminate for the final episode. It's a little weird. I was like, they don't say exterminate? What is this nonsense? It's like, they need to say exterminate every 5 minutes when they speak. Or like, you know, if you don't do this, you will be exterminated. Not that if you don't do this, you will be killed. It's like, yeah, a little bit off. But you have that, you know, you have, and while they're bumping into people who work at this museum, they're invisible. People are just annoying them. They don't know why, and then we find out why. That they become part of the display. They get basically frozen like they turned into action figures, just human size. Like we all thought Hot Toys was like 6, you know, human size is 6 feet, like a Hot Toy or something. Nope, they're full on like human size figures pretty much, in an display case, and they're trying to avoid that to happen. So they're trying to like avoid, okay, what did we do? What happened to us to lead to this path? And you're just like, I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Trying to convince the future, trying to, you know, time can always be rewritten, that type of mindset behind it. But outside of it, I'm like, except bees versus ants, it's this waste versus that waste, and I mean the action pricing is pretty good. You know, Ian really shows. I mean, let's be honest, Ian is like the most physical, well, like the most physical, the most like throwing the punches, and it gets into the sword fights and all that. And I might guess also the idea of the Doctor being very physical at the time wasn't a mindset. They weren't thinking, oh, this show's going to last for 60 years. They thought the show might be around for probably 3 years. They thought like William Hartnell would be the Doctor, would be Doctor Who in call it a day, and they did at the time didn't for concept of generation. That's that. That's like 4, 5 episodes until then, until the 10th planet comes along. But yeah, it sucks. It's really, but we got the chase, so we got another dark story. And then it's the time mailer, and then we end the season 2. But then it's episode 15 because the whole lost episodes, all that of season 3, and then it's three stories with that, and then it's the 10th planet, which crosses over to season 4, and then we're done with the first Doctor, which is literally trying to be my goal of like at the end of the year trying to do a Doctor per month, even though it would cross over with the actual 6-year anniversary stuff, but in November. But that's the aim, because I'm not playing through 13 just because I done